This video is brought to you by catbeast.com. Design your own custom snapbacks and hats. We are Beast.
Y'all thought I was gonna give up on this series after one episode, didn't y'all? Honestly, it's pretty reasonable, but I'm back with another episode of NBA Battlegrounds, a series where we put the best against the best to reach a better conclusion as to which player is better. If y'all are new to the channel, we look at the pros and cons of each player, and I let you guys decide in the comment section down below who's better in you guys' opinion. This week, after looking feedback from the last video and combined with my Instagram and Twitter polls, we have Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers and Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, two of the best big men in the league. But who is better? Well, let's roll the intro. Before we go on, shout out to catbeast.com for sponsoring this video, the best website to get custom embroidered hats. Once again, shout out to catbeast.com for sponsoring this video. Check the link in the description to check them out. Joel Embiid pros. Let's start off this episode with the process. Joel Embiid. Standing at 7 feet tall, 250 pounds, this man is a legitimate beast. He is one of the biggest and strongest players in the league, and it's extremely hard to stop him. But what makes him even more deadly is his skill, as despite his frame, in just his third year, he has proven to be one of the most skilled big men we've ever seen. This is a player with one of the best post games in the league, a lost art in today's game, especially with big men. He has a solid face-up game, can stretch the floor, but also despite the not so impressive assist to turnover ratio, he's a pretty solid passer. He's also terrific at drawing fouls due to his frame and skill, as in all 3 of his years in the league he has averaged around 7 to 10 free throw attempts per game while being a solid shooter at the line. This year he averaged a ridiculous 28 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists and 2 blocks on 48, 30, 80 splits in the regular season. That is an extremely dominant stat line. But let's also talk about his defensive presence, as aside from a dominant offensive game that has shown to just be simply unstoppable at times, arguably his best ability is his defensive capabilities. Because of his frame, he covers a lot of ground on the court, which means he's really great at clogging the lane, being a good help defender, and a great shot blocker. He's also quick enough on his feet to switch on pick and rolls and isn't just a complete liability. But even if a smaller defender does go by him, once again he is quick and big enough to recover and affect their shot from behind. He truly is a defensive juggernaut, and being only 25 years old, just finishing his 3rd season, he will be a force in this league for a long time. Joel Embiid cons. If he stays healthy. I don't know how smooth of a transition that was, but we're rolling with it. Arguably his biggest con is his durability. As we all know, he missed his first 2 seasons in the league due to a foot injury and only played 31 games his rookie season. In the past 2 years, while being healthy for the most part, the 76ers have still been iffy about putting a lot of minutes on him and has still missed roughly 20 games a season. And in the first round this year, he was still bugged with injuries. Aside from health issues, he also has trouble with his decision making and shot selection. There are a lot of games where he shoots 5, 6, 7 threes in the game, and for only being a 30% shooter from deep, that is way too much. Now it might be something that he's forced to do because of Ben Simmons being somewhat of a liability in the half-court set, but sometimes I feel like he still does it too much even with that situation. He also has a tendency to force bad shots up or intentionally initiate contact to draw a foul, which again can only work so much in the playoffs until it actually hurts your team. In the playoffs, when the game slows down and again referees are more lenient on physicality, Embiid's points per game goes down 5 points a game, and his efficiency goes down from 48% from the field in the regular season to around 42 to 43% from the field, which is not good whatsoever. And again, when it comes to his passes, while yes, he is capable of making great plays, as mentioned before, he doesn't have the best assist to turnover ratio. For his career, he's actually had an assist to turnover ratio of less than 1 to 1, and this year him averaging 3.7 assists with 3.5 turnovers is actually considered his best. Nikola Jokic pros. Okay, it's time to go to the Joker, Nikola Jokic. Also standing at 7 foot tall, 250 pounds, Nikola Jokic is still a polarizing figure on the court, physically speaking. Now obviously not as big and defined as Embiid, but offensively, because of his frame, he's still a very tough guard. Offensively, he has already proven that he has the potential to be one of, if not the most offensively skilled big man in history, if he isn't already in that discussion. This is a guy who has very little weaknesses offensively. While not being as physically polarizing as Embiid, he is very skilled and has a soft touch around the rim. He also has a very solid post game, one of the best in the league, and when he really gets going, he really is capable of dropping 30 to 40 points on you. He also has, in my opinion, a better ability to stretch the floor than Embiid, despite shooting around the same clip from 3 in the regular season. Because aside from this year, he shot around 34 to 35% or higher from deep, and in the playoffs shot roughly 40% from deep. Now he doesn't get to the line nearly as much as Embiid, not many players do, but aside from that I do believe he has a much polished scoring repertoire than Embiid, or at least, just as good. The only reason he's not averaging as much as Embiid's 28 a game is because his usage rating is not nearly as high as Embiid's. He doesn't average as many minutes as him, and I do believe that he is taking a sacrifice in his field goal attempts for the Denver system. But the playoffs this year showed that he's fully capable of being a 25 point per game scorer if he really wanted to. And I haven't even got to his playmaking ability, which arguably is the best we've ever seen. From crazy outlet passes, passes off the post, passes from the elbow, passes off the dribble on the break. This man is a ridiculous passer for a big man. Honestly, he's just a ridiculous passer in general. This year he averaged 7.3 assists per game while averaging 3 turnovers a game, and in the playoffs he even raised that to 8.4 a game while lowering his turnovers to 2.6 a game. That's just ridiculous. This year Jokic averaged roughly 20 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, with only 3 turnovers on 51, 31, 82 splits, led the Nuggets to 54 wins and just 1 win shy of the Western Conference Finals. Nikola Jokic cons. Now with Jokic, his biggest weakness still has to be his defense. While yes, he has made improvements this year and isn't as bad as he was in the past, I still wouldn't say he's anything above average. He can still be slow on his feet and a mismatch for quicker guards off switches from the pick and roll. He's not really that much of a paint presence as well, and just in general, he's just nothing to be bragging about defensively. My input. Here we are at the section of the video where I talk about my input on this comparison. In my opinion, both right now and moving forward, I would personally much rather have Nikola Jokic on my team than Joel Embiid. From a skill set point of view, yes, Embiid is leaps better than Jokic defensively. However, despite Embiid still being a capable 28 point per game scorer, I still feel like overall, Jokic is such a better offensive player than Embiid, combined with the fact that in just his first playoff run, he has shown so far that he steps it up in the playoffs rather than Embiid, who has shown that he underperforms more than not. And with those two factors combined, I believe it does exceed whatever gap they have defensively. Going forward, he's also a year younger than Embiid and has shown so far that he doesn't have the durability problems that Embiid has, playing 70 plus games every year he's been in the league, and back-to-back Game 7 series in the playoffs, playing 40 minutes a game, playing all of those games, and still being as effective as he was. But with that being said, like I said at the beginning of the video, let me know your opinions on these two players. Who is better between them? I will also leave a link for a poll you guys can answer, which will also give you a free entry to a $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. And since there were complications with last week's poll/giveaway that made it so that there were only 35 total entries, this week I will tweak it a little bit and I will choose 2 winners to compensate for the error last week. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'm out. Peace.